How are we still having an ammo shortage? Today we're going to talk about it. So there's a lot of really great videos here on YouTube going over people's thoughts and ideas on why there's an ammo shortage. But I have not yet seen a video that, to me, actually portrays the whole big picture. So firstly, every election, ammo sales and gun sales go up. We saw it in 2008, we saw a big run in 2012, we even saw a pretty decent surge in 2016. Now the sales of guns and ammo go up even more in the election years when a Democrat is elected to office. As of August 2020, about 5 million people bought a gun for the first time in their life. And while that is a pretty impressive surge, I don't believe that that's actually the reason for this ammo shortage. I think that most new gun owners buy a box or 2 boxes or maybe 3 boxes of ammo when they pick their gun up, and maybe they just replenish that as they go to the range and shoot. But most new gun owners are not avid shooters. They're not going to the range every week, burning through hundreds or thousands of rounds a week of ammo. So while this is a pretty impressive surge of new gun owners, and certainly that is some demand on ammo, I don't actually think this is the reason for this ammo shortage. So we're not in a big war at the moment that's consuming millions and billions of rounds of ammo. And to my knowledge, I've not seen or heard anything about any new government contracts or any new government or military orders that would cause a shortage for civilian ammo. So what I actually think is happening is this weird perfect storm of things that all together are creating one of the worst ammo shortages I've ever seen. First, you've got a pandemic, and you had this idiotic run on toilet paper in March. Now, I think a lot of people saw this run on toilet paper and some empty shelves in some grocery stores, and a lot of people wondered if our shipping and if our trucking and if our food infrastructure was going to collapse because of this virus. Now, the argument has been made in quite a few videos here on YouTube already that most preppers already have their ammo stockpiled, and so most preppers are not the people going out and buying, hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of rounds of ammo. And I think that that's true. I don't think that preppers are the cause for this ammo shortage. But I think that there's a whole group of new preppers that saw this stupid run on toilet paper that wondered if our trucking infrastructure or our food infrastructure was going to collapse because of this pandemic. And I think we had a group of people that had not ever stockpiled or that had not ever prepped for anything before move into that space and wisen up and be like, oh, I should have some food, I should have some water, I should have freeze-dried meals, I should have guns and ammo. And so I think this group of kind of new preppers created a run on ammo. And so in and of itself, this would have been enough to cause somewhat of a shortage of ammo. But I don't think that was it either, because then at the end of May and the beginning of June, we started seeing the George Floyd riots and civil unrest in every major city in America, I think caused an enormous run on guns and ammo. There are so many people that had never owned a gun before or had a gun and not much ammo or whatever, that we saw this happening in every major city around the country, and there's another whole group of people that are like, oh, I probably should have some guns and ammo to protect myself. For the first time in my lifetime, in more than one city around the country simultaneously, we were seeing people that were kind of left to fend for themselves because police either weren't answering calls or they were just too busy with other stuff going on. So law enforcement literally wasn't available to protect you in some of these cities. And I think the whole country watching this made another run on guns and ammo. So now you have civil unrest on top of a pandemic. So then you couple both those things with an election year. And throughout all of 2020, we've seen the left openly say that they are coming for your guns. Now, this is no longer a conspiracy. Anytime that you would say, oh, the left, the Democrats, they're coming for your guns, liberals are coming for your guns, this was by a huge percentage of the country just dismissed as a conspiracy. You were a right-wing nut job. You were a gun nut. No one's coming for your guns. Well, now for the first time in my lifetime, we have this social climate, this political climate in which many politicians are openly saying that they're coming for your guns. You've got Beto saying, hell yes, we're coming for your AR-15s. Hell yes, we're coming for your AK-47s. You've got Kamala Harris saying that within the first 100 days in office, she would use executive action to put forth new gun laws and magazine capacity limits, and even possibly a mandatory gun buyback. You've got Joe Biden saying openly multiple times that he plans on defeating the NRA. Now, this was the same Joe Biden that was responsible for the assault weapons ban and the magazine capacity limits that happened during the Clinton administration. And he has said openly, publicly, many, many times that he plans to do this exact same thing again. So you've got a pandemic, you've got civil unrest and rioting, you've got a political social climate in which many politicians are openly saying that they're coming for your guns, and you've got an election year on top of that in which sales normally surge anyway. So you've got three separate things that each on their own would create a run on guns and ammo. Three separate things that would cause millions of people who had never been preppers, who had never stockpiled ammo, to go out and do so and begin that process. Millions of people that would begin buying whatever ammo they saw in front of them that they could get their hands on. Then Joe Biden wins the election with Kamala Harris as his VP. Now, I'm not here to talk about the validity of this election, so stay with me. We're talking about ammo here. So all of this, all these separate things, all put together that happen all inside the same year, a pandemic, the potential for our infrastructure collapsing with shipping and food supplies, civil unrest, the political climate in which Democrats are coming for your guns, and then an election year, and the fact that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris win the election. This is a lot of stuff happening inside one single year, that all of which would create a run on ammo. But I'll use myself for an example, actually. In the past 2 weeks, I've bought both myself and my wife a new carry gun. Now, we didn't need any new guns. We have guns. And for almost all of 2020, when I saw ammo available that was not price gouged, that was of somewhat normal price, I would buy what I was allowed to buy. Just when I saw it, I would go ahead and buy it. Now, I didn't need ammo. I had ammo. I had guns. I didn't need these things, but I also am not the person that has tens of thousands of rounds of anything or dozens and dozens of guns. So when I saw them, I bought them. And I think there are millions and millions of people in the exact same situation as I am doing the same thing. A few weeks ago, we were at a gun shop here in Nashville, and there was an entire empty shelf. I'll throw up a picture. There was an entire empty shelf with 2 boxes of 9mm Winchester white box on the shelf. And of course, I saw it. They were selling for $16.95 a box, so not being price gouged. It was a 2-box limit. I grabbed both boxes. And literally a few minutes later, the gun shop got in another case of ammo, and they instantly put it out while we were still walking around looking. So now there were dozens of boxes of ammo on the shelf, 9mm as well. And on a Tuesday afternoon, with only a handful of people in this gun store, that ammo was snatched up and gone in less than 5 minutes. And I think, to me, this just proves that there's a whole bunch of people, millions and millions of people, that are buying what they can when they see it, regardless of if they actually need it or not. So my main point here is that gun owners are a spectrum of people. You have hardcore preppers that have dozens and dozens of guns and tens of thousands of rounds of ammo, and you have first-time gun owners who have 2 boxes of ammo. But somewhere in the middle of that spectrum, there are a whole bunch of people who are enthusiastic about guns or newly realize the need for guns for self-defense, potentially for hunting, and they are trying to get themselves set up. I genuinely believe that that's what's happening. I don't think it's a big conspiracy. As far as I have read and seen, all the ammo manufacturers are still running at full or near full capacity. Like I said, there's no military contracts or government contracts that are big enough that would have caused the civilian ammo supply to dry up. And so I think all of these things, this perfect storm of a bunch of nonsense all happening in the same year, is actually why there is an ammo shortage. So how do we actually move past this? Well, first, if you haven't yet, don't forget to subscribe. Give me a thumbs up, drop me a comment, let me know what you think is going on, if you agree or if you have some different idea on what's happening here. There's been a lot of people talk about, well, why don't they just ramp up the production of ammo? Well, this is a very expensive, time-consuming thing to do. Ammo machines just aren't sitting on the shelf for big ammo manufacturers, and they just, go down the aisle at a store and say, oh, I'll take one of those machines and one of those machines. These machines are often made to order. And so a huge company like Federal or Remington or Winchester would have to order new ammo machines. And then they would have to create the warehouse space in which to house these new machines, and they'd have to hire new staff with which to run these new machines, and then they would have to acquire a higher quantity of materials with which to create ammo with. So ramping up ammo production is actually one of the hardest things and one of the most expensive and most time-consuming things in the gun industry. And then you have to couple that with the fact that all of these companies have to weigh out the options as a business. Is it smart to ramp up production, to invest millions of dollars in new warehouses and new facilities and new machines, like millions and millions of dollars into this? Because if the ammo demand levels off in 6 months or 8 months, then they made a bad financial decision, a bad business decision to invest all that money. So a lot of these ammo companies are going to have to guess what's going to happen in the future. Is the demand for ammo going to stay at this rate? And if so, then they would move forward into upping production, in which case it wouldn't even happen for 8 months, a year, depends on their business and what they're actually buying and having built in terms of warehouses and facilities. So it's not just as simple as just ramping up production, because most businesses run at 95 or 100% capacity anyway, because that's how you run an efficient business. So upping ammo production is something that's going to happen very slowly over a very long time, if it happens at all. And I think the next couple years are going to be pretty sketchy, and until some political wings of the government swing back the other direction, I think this is going to continue to be the climate for a while, and that's pretty unfortunate. Fingers crossed that I'm wrong. All right, thanks guys for watching. Again, don't forget to subscribe. Hit me up on Instagram at Colt__Daniel. I'll put a link in the description to that, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.